everybody, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Heather and today I am bringing you another of my favorites? Yeah, I don't know. Another of my favorite kind of tutorials, a dollar store DIY. All right, today we are going to be working with these lemons and oranges, and then just plain yellow. And this is a 2-set dish drying mat. These are from Family Dollar, and they were $3 for both. So this whole thing cost $3. They are 16 inches by 19 inches. So what we're gonna do today is a like a two-tone pouch. So I haven't done a pouch before with our Family Dollar dish drying mats, so I thought it was perfect because it's so springy and I love it. And we're actually going to line it today. If you've been watching some of my recent videos, I'm trying to go through the material bins that I have that, let's be honest, I haven't opened. So there's material that's been there for a super long time. This is just a cotton, but it's yellow. And I thought since we're doing a two-tone pouch, we're going to end up with that middle seam. And this way we don't have to worry about binding or covering or anything like that. A lot of our dollar store DIYs that we've done have involved binding. And so I wanted to give you something that you could make for super cheap that doesn't involve binding. So it's easier for anyone who really, really doesn't like it. All right, so that's what we're going to do today. So we need one packet, and this will make a good amount. This is just, like I said, it's scrap cotton. It came from Joann's a really long time ago. We're going to use number 5 zipper tape today from Amazon. I will link that. We've got a zipper pull. Yeah, and then we'll probably use a hang tag instead of like a sew-on tag, but I guess we'll see when we're over at the machine. So first things first, I'm just going to drop you down and we're just going to wing it. We're going to cut out what we think we want, and I'll probably write it down as we're cutting so that if we want to make some more of these, we can. But also then I have it, so I will include it in the description box below so that if you want to make these, even if you're making them out of different material, you can just jot down or screenshot the measurements and you can make these pouches also. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so what I've done basically is I've just folded this in half. And that's 8 inches. So, all right, we're gonna call this the two-tone pouch. All right, so top will be 8 inches in height. Okay, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this right down the center. So this will mean that we can make 2 of these. We'll just make 1 together, but we'll have this one that we'll make a second pouch with. Perfect. And then basically same thing. We're just going to fold in half this way. I'll measure that in a second. I am going to take off that edge over there. And if you've never done anything with these before, it's just a foam that's inside, so nothing crazy. Just cutting off this finished edge. And then we'll measure. And we're going to leave the top edge because we're going to sew it down. All right, and then we're 9 inches wide. Okay, so our two-tone pouch, the top is 8 inches tall, 9 inches wide. So there's 2 of the pieces that we need. Now we need to make our bottom out of this yellow. And our bottom will also include our boxed corners, right? So we want to think about that. And we know we're going to have to go all the way across because that's half. So, let's see. What are we feeling, you guys? Maybe a 4? We'll do 4 inches. And I'm just going to do that all the way across, and then we'll cut. So we're going to have a little extra left of the yellow. Maybe we can figure out something else to do with that. Okay, so here's our extra pieces. And here we're just going to go ahead and trim off all of these finished pieces. I did not include that in the 4-inch height that I measured. And I just cut these off because they're actually pretty hard, and so they're harder to sew through. I'll give you a final measurement of these here in a second. All right, so our bottom, 4 inches in height and 9 inches wide. Okay, now while we're here too, we can go ahead and box our corners, and we'll do a 1.5 inch box. Again, I'll list all of this in the description. Okay. But sometimes, you know, doing this prep work while you're over here is gonna be really helpful. So we're just gonna go ahead and draw 1.5 by 1.5 on all 4 of our yellow corners. And then we'll cut them out. And I'm just using an air erasing marker. These are gonna scream springtime. I can't wait. I bet they'd make like really cute little Mother's Day gifts, teacher gifts, Easter, if you're going to celebrate Easter and you're going to somebody's home. This would be a cute little thank you for having me. And this is going to come together super fast. Prepping so that we're ready to go. All right, the only other thing that we have to cut is our liner. And so if our pouch is 9 inches wide, we'll do an 8-inch zipper, and we're gonna tab both sides. With our lining fabric. Okay, so we have 8 inches and 4 inches, 12 inches. We're going to sew them together at 1/4, which would be, so we want our lining 2 pieces, 9 inches wide. So I have this folded over, 9 inches wide, and we're gonna go 11.5 inches total. My Omni only goes 9.5, so I'm just gonna bring it down 2 more inches from the line I just made. There we go. And then we'll box those corners once we cut this out. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but yellow always screams springtime to me. It's like the quintessential springtime color. All right. Put that. Also gonna need to cut our zipper tabs, which will actually use our cuts. All right, so lining. See, this is my creative process. You guys are joining me on 9 inches wide by 11.5 in height. And we have to do the same box there on the corners because, again, we are boxing. So we're going to use our scrappies for our zipper tabs. All right, so we're just going to box these out at the same 1.5. I still have them on top of each other so that it just makes it one less cut that we have to do. And a 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch box is going to give us a 3-inch bottom. So it should stand pretty decently. Hold some good products in there. And we're just going to take our zipper tabs from this material instead of cutting separate. All right, so take our scrappies, we're going to take our lining, and we're going to take our outside pieces, and we are going to head to the machine. All right, you guys, we are at the machine, which is a Juki TL 2010Q, and we have a Microtex 9014 needle in here. We're using our tank foot, which is just a style of foot. Tex 35 weight thread from Wizardry Stitchery in the top and the bottom, and I think that is it, maybe? All right, so the first thing that we need to do is just take a couple of our scrap pieces and make our zipper tabs. So we only need 2. I have put our zipper pull on already, and what we're going to do here is just very easy. We're just going to fold to find our center, and then we're going to bring the raw edges into the center and refold like so. And then we just sandwich our zipper right in there. And I, whenever I'm creating my own pattern, always give myself an inch smaller on the zipper than the total length of our materials, and I do that because I don't like to interfere. I don't like when our zipper tabs hit our side stitching, you know, like when we're too close. I just feel like this gives us a better finish. Okay, and these are plastic teeth, you guys, not metal. Obviously, sewing over metal teeth would require something totally different. I always backstitch. And zipper tabs don't have to be difficult. You just don't want any of those raw edges on the zipper side. You can see we have raw edges on these sides, but right here, that's not going to make any difference because those will be enclosed. So those are fine. Okay, and we'll just clip off our excess, our threads. All right, now, before we start attaching anything, we just want to combine our top and our bottom just by putting right sides together. And we're gonna sew, like I said, with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and this is puffy, but it'll be fine. Just put a good back stitch in there. Okay, see, look at that. So cute. Now we would normally do a top stitch, but we technically don't need to because our foam just kind of hangs out and does its own thing. However, I think we'll go ahead, we'll try to run a top stitch here on the bottom. Never made this before. So we're just gonna, let's see what happens. See if it changes how our pouch sits at all. Okay. I don't know if that did anything, but you know what? We did it, so we're gonna have to do it on the other side too. All right. Same thing, we're just gonna smush that all in there. Okay. And we're doing the thing that probably doesn't matter, but we're doing anyways because we did it on the other side. Most of the time you'd have a seam that would sort of push down, but this foam is so thick that that's really not the case. All right, so those are good. Now we can sort of start to build our pouch. So typically we would go ahead and make it so that we attach our top and our bottom at the same time. But because we are just gonna attach the finished edge to the top, we're gonna go ahead and just attach our lining first. Okay. And we want to find the centers here. We also want to find the center of our zip. I don't like to cut into zipper tape. If you do though, you do you. Don't let me stop you. So I'm just gonna draw a center marking here. Okay. And like I said, we're gonna attach our lining first, and then we'll attach our exterior. Okay, so we're just going to baste this on. You can clip it if you want, just sort of holding it in place. Okay. All right, so that's on, right? So we sewed our zipper tape right side up and our lining piece right side up. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to turn it so that our zipper tape is right side up and our lining is wrong side up. And we're going to take our outer piece here. We're going to center it to the best of our ability, and we're just sewing this right onto our zipper tape, which will then sew down our lining piece at the same time. Okay, so I just want to try to make sure we get as spot on as possible. I've never sewn anything like this before, like in this style, so I'm actually kind of excited to see how it turns out. Okay, here we go, guys. And we're just going to sew right down. Here we go. So far, so good. We're just gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing over here. Now I'm just gonna sew the center first here. I just want to make sure that it doesn't move, because it moved slightly on us last time. And I definitely don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to again, that'll just keep it sort of where we want it, and then we can go ahead and sew down the whole thing. Again, you could use clips instead. This is just, I didn't use clips, so here we are. Just making sure everything stays put. And you can kind of start to see how our little two-tone pouch is going to come out. now we will do the same thing. Pull our lining. Just gonna cut our threads here. And we're just gonna, once again, try to line everything up as close as possible. To what's underneath, but also to what's going on over here. So we got a little off track, but that's okay. That is not a big deal. Again, this is just, we're just doing the exact same thing that we did on the other side. Using this sort of pre-finished edge, I think is going to look really cool. All right, you guys, there we go. Look at that, super cute. So now this just becomes sort of a normal pouch construction. So this is open for us, and we just want to come in here and match up our tops. Okay, same thing over here. So we're going to go around and do that on all of our sides and our bottom. And then we'll come back for our final sew. So this is pretty quick, nice and fast, and really beginner friendly and easy to begin to see what you can do for pretty cheap. All right, we're all clipped. And we're gonna leave a seam open on the side here. So we're gonna start by stitching our lining base panel together. And I'm doing a 3/8 inch seam along the lining, and I'm gonna do a 1/4 inch on the exterior. That will help us ensure that our lining isn't baggy or anything like that. And we'll leave our opening on the other side. So we're going to sew this side all the way. And like I said, we're going to start at a 3/8 inch on this lining, and then we're going to gradually decrease to that 1/4 inch that we want our exterior to be sewn at. And we just want to be mindful of where our zipper tab is. Do not want to sew over that. So we're coming up close to it here. So we're just taking our time. Nothing wrong with a little patience. Taking your time, making sure you got everything how you want it. I think one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I first started sewing was I thought I had to do everything like super fast, and that if I went fast it would come out better. And of course, if you've sewn, you know that that is 100% not true. Going fast, it does not necessarily make it better. This is where we sewed together that seam, so there's just a bunch of foam there. So I just hand cranked a little bit. stitch. Okay, and then across the bottom at 1/4 inch. All right, now I'm gonna flip her because I want our seams to be going down on the side. We're gonna sew everything from the same direction. And here we're gonna leave an opening on the side to turn our bag out. So we're just gonna come up a little, back stitch really good. We're gonna let that be. And this isn't necessarily difficult, but you just want to make sure you backstitch really well, leave a good size opening because it is chunky. She's definitely bulky. Let me just grab my screwdriver here. And so I just used my screwdriver to sort of hold down that zipper tab and hold down the piece of fabric that I wanted to make sure that we got sewn up. Again, just taking my time here. This is where those bulkier bits are from all that foam. But we want it to all go down because that will hopefully help this stand. All right. Now we just need to box our corners. Okay, so you're just going to sort of stick your finger in there. You can butterfly your seams open, or you can nest them, which would be one way. What the bottom goes one way and the top goes another, whichever works for you. We're going to box our lining at 3/8 and our exterior at 1/4. Just going to go ahead and trim off some of that excess. And we'll do this guy over here, same way. Now our exterior is going to be a little more difficult, but that is only because they're much thicker. But you do the same thing. You just kind of stick your finger in there. And we'll try to butterfly these foam seams, but you can't get it, you can't get it. It's not a huge deal. Just lifting up my foot to see if I can get those seams sort of where I want them. Okay, and then same thing on this side. There we go, guys. All right, so now we just need to reach in and turn our bag out, and then we can close up our turn hole and take a look. So I'm just grabbing sort of the bottom, pulling her out. Then you just want to reach in there and poke everything out. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Poke out your top side. On both corners. There we go. All right. This is a tall pouch. I didn't realize how tall it was going to be. That's okay. All right, so here you can see that this naturally wants to fold in on itself, and that's what you're looking for. So you just sort of stick your fingers in there, and then we're going to sew this just down the opening. And on the side here makes it far less likely to see any sort of your side stitching. You could hand stitch this if you want, but your girl does not live her life like that. All right, let's head on over to the finished table and see what we made together. All right, you guys, see how fast that was and fun? And here she is. Look at our cute pouch. Okay, she's tall. I don't think I intended on her being that tall. So maybe if you're making this and you don't like it that tall, it's fully lined, you can take a couple inches off of your top measurement. But, I mean, so cute. Who can be mad at this? This is even cute, like in the kitchen as like an accessory, or you could put like a vase in here and then have flowers come out. It could be so, so cute. We got our tab. See that perfect measurement? That 1 inch really makes it so that the top zip really goes where you want it. But yeah, quick, fast, fun, really beginner friendly, and this is going to be cheap, especially if you go hit up the dollar stores like I like to do to find these fun projects to make. And this is so spring. So spring. I still think I will definitely give this as a gift. I think it'll be perfect. We'll put some goodies inside and see where we're at. And we'll make our other one too, because we still have plenty of additional material. Not too bad for $3, right? Thanks so much for joining me here today. I hope that you enjoyed this dollar store DIY as much as I enjoy all of our dollar store DIYs. Have a fabulous day today. Do something you love, and I will see you soon.